Hey there, freedom fighters. I'm back with another one. Today's topic is diversity our strength. I know you've heard that one before. It's what the media and the propaganda always tries to push on us. And I guess the goal today is have an actual rational conversation on it, if that's possible. But yeah, I mean, leave your comments below what you think about it, and I'm gonna give you, my opinions now. But basically, yeah, I mean, we know with Title 42 what was happening, what's continuing to happen at our border, and somehow, you always hear the analogy, America's the melting pot, and we're just supposed to have unending immigration into our country. Well, I mean, if you know anything about melting or mixing substances or anything like that, some things don't mix. Some things are oil and water. They literally repel. So, just having everybody come in and expecting, oh, we're just the melting pot and everybody gets along and everything mixes is almost just a naive way to look at it. Um, I know in like mixing or smelting metal and stuff, I watched this one channel where they do stuff like that, and they actually like put the metals together and they use, I think it's called flux and some kind of agent, like a separating agent, and it takes the impurities out, and when you mix it up and they pour it out and it cools, you'll literally have like layers depending on what it is. It'll be like aluminum and copper and nickel, and it'll like all separate. So in the melting pot, things still get separated. And I was watching a Tim Pool analogy. He did it better. He said one time he was making a fondue, and he's melting all the cheeses. He's putting in the cheddar. The cheddar melts. He puts in the mozzarella. The Swiss, whatever, and it's all melting. And he's got the Parmesan in there, and it never melted. And even while they're eating around it, and they just ended up eating it, and this block of Parmesan sitting in there because it never mixed in. It never assimilated to the pot. So yeah, I mean, to think that we're just all, oh, we just all come together and we all just, the melting pot is pretty ridiculous. You're gonna bring in all these different warring factions and just expect everyone to get along and share the same country. All coexist together. And then when you're in America, you obviously have the freedom of speech and the ability to redress your grievances. So these warring factions openly can say whatever they want against each other. Except for now that they try to make these laws, anti-Semitism laws and racist hate speech laws, which is all unconstitutional. The Supreme Court says free speech is speech that you don't like. So again, if you bring in a certain group of people that doesn't like another group of people, they're free to say that. They have the rights to say that. You stop speech here. And they can redress their government about that as well. Except for, again, we're past tyrannical government now where they're trying to regulate speech. That's what they do. And then eventually, whoever becomes the majority will rule the country. That's ultimately what it becomes. And you have separate court systems as people refuse to be, governed and ruled by people who aren't them. There's, plenty of examples across the world. I can't remember if it's Shiite versus Sunni, but they actually have courts. So, like, whatever charge you get, if you're running a red light or a stop sign, and you're like a Shiite, you have to go to a Shiite court because they won't go to a Sunni court because they're like, no, I know I'm going to get railroaded. I know they're going to impose the harshest sentences. And there's cases where, like, the brutal robberies and murders and stuff like that. And then they go into the similar, whatever their religion court is, and they say, oh, no, you're not guilty of that because in their mind it's justified. And I believe that's what's coming in America, and that's technically what we already have, where you have, the Kyle Rittenhouses and what's the recent guy, Daniel Perry, or the guy in the subway, Penny. I mean, we got to refuse. I mean, patriots aren't going to get a chance in the court system, especially in these places. And I mean, as far as the one in Texas goes, I mean, they're taking over everything. The DAs, the judges, the lawyers, they're all against you. So there will be no fair shots, no fair trials, any of that. I believe in London, they've started that, and they have Sharia courts. And again, they don't want to be judged by anybody but their people. So in a country where, diversity is our strength, really? I mean, does that sound strengthening to you? We're a bunch of warring factions that have the right to say whatever they want. Just get to free for all it and share the same country. Yeah, I'm sure that'll end peaceful. I mean, basically, nationalism is the only thing that ever worked. And the only thing that ever will work. When a people are secure in their country and they feel like they're with their people, you're not going to have crime. I mean, you will have crime, but it won't be to the extent because people don't want to commit serious actions against their brothers and sisters and people they feel a camaraderie with and share a culture and a country. And then they say the Statue of Liberty. You always hear that thing. The Statue of Liberty didn't start our country. I forget exactly when the Statue of Liberty came, but it was even after the Civil War. It was like in the late 1800s. So people act like, they always say about the plaque on there, the huddled masses and all that. Like, we have a duty to just import the third world and have everybody come into America. It says nothing in our Constitution about being replaced, or you have the duty to become a minority in your own country because, that's what your founding fathers wanted, and that's what the Statue of Liberty says. That's garbage. It says nothing about, again, like you have to become a minority in your own country and just allow unending flow of immigration. And I guess the final thing that would be, it's not a strength, is foreign intervention and the ability for foreign governments to use it against you. I forget, they were having some kind of meeting with China, and I think it was like they were talking about Taiwan or something and saying, if you invade Taiwan, or actually I think it was about their treatment of the Uyghur Muslims. And they said, oh, we don't take advice from America on social justice or racial issues or human rights because of Black Lives Matter. So whenever we call out another country for their abuses, now they get to use our diversity against us. They say, well, you have Black Lives Matter roaming around and, the treatment of these people, even though we already know that movement's a farce, and they know it's a farce, but they can further use that position to divide us. And any country that, wants to push that button and stoke the racial fires knows exactly how to do it. So again, is that our strength? And yeah, I mean, I was watching a recent Tucker interview too, where he was saying, like, I think it was his Twitter post after his firing, where he was like, we have a lot of conversations that don't matter, but the ones that do matter, they don't want you having, and we don't talk about. Like, again, never ending migration, demographic change, the replacement. They don't want to talk about that. And if you do, you're some kind of extremist or conspiracy theorist, whatever title they want to put on it. Yeah, and then I was also, I was talking about, I think I said about Black Scout Survivals. I was watching a stream he had where he was talking about it and saying, man, this is worldwide. It's not just in America. Well, it's actually not worldwide. I mean, it's not happening in China. It's not happening in Afghanistan. The only places this is happening are Europe, Australia, Canada. It's the Anglosphere. This is where it's happening because it's a targeted attack. And we'll have to get further into this later, but yeah, I mean, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. I'm getting close to 500 subscribers here, and the further we go, the more stuff we can do with the channel. So I appreciate that. And stick around. We got a big video coming up next that we have to address in this community. So I look forward to getting to that. Till the next one, you know what I always say. We are on our own. No one's coming to save us. Only God can save you. So get right with God. Freedom Fighters out.